Yo, what's up, everybody? This is Marcus from the Weekly Spot, back again with another review. And today I'll be doing a book review of The Lightning Thief, the first book of the Percy Jackson series, Percy Jackson and the Olympians, written by Rick Riordan. The story follows Percy Jackson, a troubled 12-year-old boy with dyslexia who also struggles with ADHD. And one day, while going on a school trip, Percy gets attacked by one of his school teachers, who turned into this like mystical creature. And after that, he was then sent to a place called Camp Half Blood, a place for demigods. After finding out that he himself is not only a demigod, but his father is the god of the sea, Poseidon. And just when things couldn't get any more crazy for the kid, it turns out the reason why he was attacked, besides being a demigod, Zeus's lightning bolt was stolen, and he thinks that Percy is the one that stole it. So now Percy, along with his friends Annabeth and Grover, they go on a quest to find the bolt to not only clear his name, but to also prevent a war between the gods. Now, it's been a long time since I've read this book. I don't remember a lot of it. But when I got back to reading more books, I went back to reading this again, and plus there is a TV show slash reboot coming out, so I'm curious to see that. The Lightning Thief, I think, is a pretty good book. If I were to describe this book, I would say it's like the combination of Harry Potter and the American Gods, but not as dark or mature. Though this is considered a children's book or a young adult novel, I feel like this is one of those books that can be for all ages. You got the comedy, you got the mythological creatures tossed in there, gods. This book is pretty fast paced, action packed. It was never really boring, and I was like invested in the story all the way to the end. I really like the characters, especially the trio, Percy, Annabeth, and Grover. I thought they were well. I thought they were well developed. I like the chemistry, and I like that though they are different, as the story goes on and you learn about these characters, they got their own goals, but the one thing that they have in common is that they want to prove their worthiness. Percy Jackson, I think, is a cool character. Like, he comes off as a troubled kid, being labeled as someone who lacks potential, but really he's kind-hearted. He's brave, and as the story progresses, you do feel some sympathy for him, and you root for him, knowing what he's going through with switching to so many schools, having these crazy things happening to him, not knowing what's going on, and not knowing who his father is, and just feeling alone. And again, you feel sorry for him, especially at that age. And Percy has like this lack of a sense of identity, and that's pretty much one of the themes of this book is identity. Because as he's going on this quest, he's also having like this journey of self-discovery, and when it comes to discovering your identity, that's something that I feel like a lot of people can relate to. Annabeth, who is the daughter of Athena, she's like the warrior and the strategist of the trio. She's the one that's been in the Camp Half Blood the longest out of most people there, and has been wanting a chance to see the world. I like her relationship with Percy, but both of their parents don't have a good history, which is the reason why Annabeth was pretty cold towards Percy at first. But I like how with this quest you got to know more about her character, and you see her and Percy building a pretty good connection. Grover, who is Percy's best friend and is also a satyr, I would say he's my favorite character. He's cheerful, he's upbeat, while also coming off as someone who's nervous and doesn't seem to have a lot of confidence. Grover, just like Percy, also struggles with identity, as he sees himself as a failure because of something that has happened to him in the past. So with this quest, it gives him a chance to like redeem himself and giving him a different perception of himself. What I really like about this book is the world building. I mean, just like something like Harry Potter with his magic, or something like American Gods with his mythology, which in this case is Greek mythology, and how they mix that in with modern day in a way that is imaginative and engaging. Like, I think it makes for a pretty interesting world. Another thing that I think is pretty cool is how they pretty much took disabilities, learning disability, and made it to some sort of a superpower. I think it's pretty cool in interesting how Percy at first was often frustrated with how his dyslexia and his ADHD affected his life, feeling that it's like a weakness when really the whole time it's actually his strength. When it turns out that his disabilities help him interpret ancient Greek and his heighten his senses and his natural ability for battle. And we have seen this before in similar things like with Daredevil, for example. But I always think it's cool seeing something like that. This is a book, as I mentioned before. I feel like it's for all ages. It's got the humor, it's got the action. I like the characters, the story, and again, I like the world building. And overall, it's just a really fun book. So I would give the Lightning Thief a 5 out of 5. I think this is a really fun read. Now that is my review of the Lightning Thief, and let me know your opinion of what you think about this book, what you think about the series, and yeah, and I guess that's it. This is Marcus from the Weekly Spot. More content will be coming out soon, but until then, take care, everyone.